company gala had always been nothing more than another box to check for me. Stand off to the side, smile politely, greet a few faces, and watch Emily, my wife, light up the entire evening. She looked breathtaking in her navy dress that night. Her curls fell perfectly, and her confidence radiated through the room like sunlight pouring through stained glass. As always, I felt proud, grateful to have her beside me. But then everything shifted. The moment that changed the entire night. Her boss, Michael, tall, broad, a man who lived for attention, strode toward us with that rehearsed smirk glued to his expression. He barely acknowledged my presence before turning his full focus on Emily. "You look extraordinary tonight," he purred, extending his arm as though it were the only reasonable option. "I'm taking you as my date for the evening." The phrase hit me like a blast of cold air. "Taking her as your date?" Emily laughed quietly, caught completely off guard. "Oh, Michael," she sighed, brushing it off as if it were harmless. But I saw the flash in her eyes, the discomfort she tried to disguise, the tight smile she pasted on. My jaw clenched as instinct surged through me. I wanted to shove him back, to make it clear to everyone present that Emily was my wife, not some accessory her egotistical boss could parade around. But I stayed silent, watching, calculating. Michael hovered his arm near her shoulder, close enough for the room to notice, far enough to maintain deniability. People chuckled awkwardly, glasses chimed, music swelled around us, and right there in the middle of the crowd, I felt erased, as if I'd disappeared entirely. That's when clarity struck. I couldn't keep pretending this behavior was acceptable. Couldn't pretend respect wasn't being trampled underfoot. He believed he'd won with one bold gesture, but he'd misjudged me completely. He'd overlooked the quiet man who was about to show him exactly where the boundary lay. I didn't speak. I didn't cause a scene, but I knew my move was coming. So I watched him soak up attention he desperately craved. Michael fed on dominance, on being the loudest voice in the building. People obeyed him out of habit, not admiration. What he didn't understand was that silence can be a weapon sharper than steel. And I was sharpening mine. All evening, he circled Emily like a hawk eyeing prey. Every time she tried to shift away, he reeled her back in. "Tell me more about your latest project," he insisted, leaning too close, his tone dripping with possessive charm. Emily gave polite laughs while her eyes flickered toward me, quietly begging for an escape. I met her gaze steadily, a silent promise that she wasn't alone, that I was watching, that I wouldn't let this man shame us both. When dinner was announced, Michael made another move. He grabbed Emily's chair, pulling it out with exaggerated flourish, pretending to be the gentleman she needed. He didn't even glance at me. "Tonight is about honoring our top people," he declared loudly, lifting his glass. "And Emily," he paused for effect, "isn't just the star of the team, she's the star of the evening." Applause and whistles filled the room. Emily's cheeks flushed, discomfort hidden beneath a strained smile. My teeth pressed together as every eye in the room shifted to her, and away from me. That was the final straw. I stood slowly, not in anger, but with a controlled calm that unsettles anyone who sees it. "Michael," I said, my voice cutting cleanly through the chatter, "you've made a mistake." The room quieted, glasses lowered, faces turned toward us. He tilted his head, smirk still in place, as though this was just another contest he had already won. "Oh, and what mistake is that?" I held his gaze. "The mistake of assuming my wife needs someone else to claim her. She doesn't. She already has a partner, and he's standing right here." A heavy silence dropped over the table. Michael barked out a laugh, the kind men use when they feel threatened but try to hide it behind bravado. "Bold words," he said, swirling his drink. "But words don't win anything, do they?" I didn't back down. I leaned forward slightly, my voice lowering to a tone that left no room for dismissal. "You're right. Words don't win battles. Integrity does. Loyalty does. Something you've never recognized." Emily's hand slid into mine under the table, shaking, but steady. That touch was worth more than any applause or praise. It was her way of saying she'd been waiting for this, not anger, but resolve. The entire room went still, 100 eyes locked onto us, waiting for Michael's reaction. For the first time that night, his smirk faltered, his certainty cracked. He glanced at Emily, then back at me, realizing his charm had finally failed him. I straightened, my chair scraping against the marble floor. "This ends tonight," I said. "You will treat my wife with respect, not because someone forces you to, but because she's earned every accolade without needing you to parade her like a trophy." Emily stood beside me, her voice steady and clear. "Michael, I appreciate the professional opportunities, but don't mistake dedication for availability. I'm married. I chose him, and your authority doesn't change that." Her words left no room for argument. The same crowd that had once cheered his toast now murmured in quiet approval, shifting their loyalty as the dynamic realigned. Michael lifted his glass again, but the arrogance had vanished. "To boundaries," he muttered weakly. No one laughed as Emily and I walked out together, hand in hand. The noise of the banquet faded behind us. Outside, the air was crisp and grounding. She looked up at me, her eyes soft but certain. "Thank you," she whispered. I squeezed her hand. "You never need to thank me. You just need to know. I'll always make my move when it matters."